Welcome to RevSports, teeing off with RevSports. I am Gargi Raut and this is Ishan Shahane. We will give you a rundown of the top headlines from the last day to begin your day afresh in the world of sports. For the first news of the day, of course, we have to talk about the test match between Indian women's cricket team and the Australian women's cricket team, and India had dominated throughout the day one of the test match. We have to talk about the bowlers, of course, Pooja Vastrakar, Sneha Rana, and then it was Deepti Sharma who got the majority of the wickets, but Pooja Vastrakar really shone through on day one, getting most of the wickets. And then Sneha Rana coming in along with the other spinners, Deepti Sharma and Rajeshwari Gaikwad, who really put the pressure on the Australian batters right from Talia McGrath. They had come in, but they were soaking up all the runs. And then eventually, as the pressure built up, they lost their wickets. Ishan, talk about the spin trio of India and, of course, Pooja.
Yes, so just fantastic, Agi. I think, again, it's a collective team effort, and Pooja came into the attack. She's gotten 4 important wickets, which really sets the tone. So you want someone like Pooja in your squad who can help in setting the tone. And again, everyone has contributed. Wankhede, at conditions like this at the moment, it suits the spinners. So I think the spinners have done a very good job. And the Indians are playing to their strengths. Obviously, we have someone like Renuka Singh in our squad as well, who holds really good medium pace bowling. But we've got some quality spinners with the likes of Pooja, Sneha Rana, and these girls are making the best use of the conditions. So it's so good to watch. And even in the England test, when I was there, I have to tell you, I think these players are getting better with time. So it's really nice to see how they're improving match after match, and that's what you want. I think this is what will help women's cricket grow if everyone, comes up with such amazing performances. So really amazing.
Before the England test match as well, where India had that historic win of 347 runs, the highest ever margin in women's test cricket. So it really is, India taking on that momentum forward, and we can see clearly that the Indian women's cricket team is high on confidence and is, Harmanpreet Kaur is really backing up those bowlers over there. And when we talk about, the second innings, Indian openers coming into bat. Before the test match, in the England series as well, we saw that the openers weren't really firing. But this time around, things are different. Even with, a dangerous Lauren Cheetal, a dangerous Kim Garth from Australia, we had Shafali Verma and Smriti Mandhana really standing tall over there. Shafali Verma eventually, at the end of the day, lost her wicket to Jess Jonathan, who's an incredible bowler. But she went in really hard and gave us, a very aggressive start with 40 runs off of 59 balls. And then Smriti Mandhana, who's still batting alongside Sneha Rana. Smriti Mandhana is currently on 43. As she starts today, she will start from 43 and have to, she has to build that innings from there. But we are expecting, a big knock from her. It is expected out of Smriti Mandhana. She is that kind of batter. But, after dominating from day one, do you see India kind of heading into, bat Australia out and get that lead? Do you think that's going to happen?
You're absolutely right, Gagi. I think that's what they have to do. They've set the platform. They've set the platform. The foundation has been set. It's been laid down. So now there's no point going into day 2 not making the most out of this. So obviously it's up to Smriti Mandhana to continue on with a good form. Even in the English, like the England test that took place, she was in really good form, but she couldn't capitalize on that. So now the responsibility is on her to capitalize on that good form and push on. And we all know that the middle order has done really well. The middle order is set. Everyone is in amazing form. So now it's building on that partnerships and, pressing on and completely taking Australia out of the game. I think me and Boryada and you were there as well. We're having this discussion where, Australia is a team which would like to fight back. So if we have them in a situation where they're down and out, try and keep them down and out for as long as possible and don't give them a sniff to get back into the game.
Absolutely, because Australia is the kind of team that, gets back well, and they have had the upper hand over the Indian team through many years. We're talking about 46 years continuously. We've had 10 test matches between India and Australia, and India has not won a single one of them. So if India wins this one, it's going to be a historic win as it is. But, Australia is a very dominating team. It is one of the best in history right now. When we look at that lineup, it's incredible. And when we going back to that first innings, Beth Mooney had really started going there. She also had a 40-run innings, as well as when Talia McGrath and Alyssa Healy came in, they got that partnership going. 50 from Talia McGrath, 38 from Alyssa Healy. You thought that maybe, this is the comeback for Australia, but Indian bowlers, especially the spin trio of Deepti Sharma, Sneha Rana and Rajeshwari Gaikwad made sure that they couldn't get that big partnership, because Rajeshwari Gaik, all three of them were bowling with an economy of 2 point something. Of course, it's going to be different for everyone, but they were bowling under the economy of 3. That is an incredible feat, because you've got a side like Australia in front of you. You've got batters like Annabelle Sutherland, you've got Ashley Gardner, you've got Alana King, Talia McGrath, of course. All of these batters who kind of really aggressively bat, even if it's Test cricket.
So you're right. I mean, I think what we've done well in the first day is breaking those crucial partnerships and not letting Australia get away, because this is a class team, a class attack. The batsmen have all the quality in the world. So obviously, if you even gave them an opportunity or a session to get away, they possibly would have built a partnership and gotten away with the game. But what we've done well over here is that we've broken those partnerships, and that's very, very important. So hats off to the Indian team again. And these crucial moments, Gagi, like even in the England Test match, that run out from Pooja again, that changed the whole dynamic of the game. So it's all these crucial moments, all these small elements in the game which make the big difference, and everybody chipping in together once again. It's just helping this Indian team. It's so good to watch. So I think day 2, today, the Indians have to push on, capitalize, and get going with the bigger partnerships. Priti Mandana has to push on as well, and that will just add pressure to like on the Aussies.
Yes, but when we talk about, in the larger sense, Harmanpreet Kaur, having talked about before that England test match, that she wants there to be more red ball set up in domestic cricket as well as international cricket. It's difficult for that to happen in the international circuit, because Greg Barclay, the ICC chief, has already talked about it. How it's very difficult to set up test matches for women's cricket, because these countries already do not have a good structure when it comes to domestic cricket for red ball format. But then Harmanpreet Kaur, took responsibility of that, and now with Amol Muzumdar starting as the new head coach, we have this new, final solid front that we've been missing for so long, since the past 1 year. Imagine that the women's cricket team, India's women's cricket team, has been without a head coach for almost a year, which is,
it's shocking.
It's shocking. Exactly. But Harmanpreet Kaur saying that India needs to take charge of it, take responsibility of the fact that they haven't been performing well, and they can only bring that change in test cricket if they perform well.
Absolutely. That's true. And I think, you have to take responsibility for the times where the team hasn't stood up, and who does that better than the captain? Unfortunately, the captain has to take the blow even for the harsh decisions, or at times when the team doesn't do too well. So it's it's a good call, but obviously they would have missed having a home, like a head coach. A head coach obviously helps in giving you that sort of element which can help in boosting your team's performance overall. So I think India would be benefited with Amol Muzumdar's presence, because he brings a brand of cricket which helps in expressing yourself freely. So I think you saw that against England as well. We've seen that right now. So I think they're going to look to learn a lot more from him and possibly help and evolve into better cricketers.
Absolutely, and we have Joydeep Mukherjee joining us from Mumbai, and he's going to talk about what he thought of the day 1 of the test match between India and Australia.
Hello everyone, Joydeep Mukherjee on behalf of RevSports, and today was all India in the first test match between India women and the Australian women. Australia, having won the toss, elected to bat. I wasn't surprised, because that's how they are. Yes, there was grass in the pitch. Yes, there was a little movement. There's always bounce at the Wankhede. But they backed themselves to be able to come and score big runs. And also probably at the back of their mind, the fact that they didn't want to bat last on this pitch, which also influenced their decision. Having said that, as far as the Indian bowling is concerned, Pooja Vastrkar was superb, as were the spinners. It started with a run out, then Pooja got the delivery of the day, getting Ellis Perry out, and after that, the partnership came. But for me, it was, I thought the Aussie batters were a little bit loose. They haven't played test match cricket in a while. If you see the dismissals, this was not a 219 all-out wicket. This was easily a 300, 320 wicket. And some of the shots that the Aussie batters played, they'll be thinking about that again, rethinking that maybe we just made it a little bit of a harakiri and could have taken a little bit more time and settle in. But the spinners did their part. They were miserly. Catches were dropped. In fact, Deepthi had an off day, but as good as she is, that's how this game goes. You never know what's going to happen. All in all, a really good day. But for me, the best part was how the Indian openers came and batted. I think 20 overs to go, we could have easily said that, okay, they're just going to shut shop and defend. And Smriti Mandhana always looks classy, always looks so good. But for me, the breath of fresh air was Shefali, because she's often thrown it away. She's often played shots that were not there. But today she was an epitome of how an opening batter should bat. She had time on her hand. She didn't try to belt the ball. She was technically sound. The pulse at which she batted was superb. And I was really disappointed when she got out to Jennison with the ball that sort of came in with the arm. But having said that, it's a really good start. India are in a very, very comfortable position. They'll come out tomorrow morning. Yes, there will be some help for the seamers tomorrow morning, but once they see that through, you plunder runs, get a big lead, and then make sure the fast bowlers and the spinners again come into play when Australia come out to bat in the second innings, because they will be under pressure, won't they? Knowing that there is another inning after that. Second innings really pushes you on the brink, because if you want to save a test match, and that is where India would want Australia to be at the end of tomorrow. We will see. But all in all, 9.5 on 10 for India for day one of this test match.
For the second news of the day, obviously we have to talk about the WFI elections. The results came out yesterday, and Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh's friend Sanjay Singh has been elected as the WFI chief, following which Sakshi Malik and the rest of the top wrestlers from India have threatened to quit the sport. Sakshi Malik, addressed the media and then left in tears, also left her wrestling shoes behind and said that she's now finally quitting the sport, because they had been protesting for so long against Brij Bhushan over sexual harassment charges. And then Sakshi Malik, who met Anurag Thakur, the sports minister of India, a few months back, had assured them, Anurag Thakur had assured them that no one remotely even connected to Brij Bhushan could hold that position. Yet his friend and someone who is supposedly being called Brij Bhushan's right hand has now been elected as the WFI chief. When we talk about it, Bajrang Punia has also talked about that wrestlers even in the future have to fight about something like this, because this protest has been going on for so long. Yet there has been, of course, there's been investigation from the government side, from the WFI side, but the wrestlers, as of now, according to them, have not had any relief at the moment. Ishan.
It's very disappointing to see, because you want to take care of your own, and if you can't do that, then these wrestlers are just going to be extremely disappointed with the whole situation. So obviously, it's not good for the wrestlers. It's not good for a sports fan. It's not good for young budding wrestlers who want to take up the sport in the future, because obviously they're seeing it from a background perspective and they're looking at what's happening, and it's looking quite messy. So it's not good at all, and I think politics and corruption should be it should be eliminated as much as possible, because that's the only way a sport like wrestling can also grow. Otherwise, it's just going to be dominated with the higher end sports like cricket. So it's not good to see, and I think something has to be done, because mental health, Kagi, I mean, so much is spoken about mental health. Imagine the toll all these wrestlers are going through at the moment. You stand for something, you're vocal about an issue, and no one's taking action. So it's it must be hurting them a lot. It's extremely disheartening, and their mental health will be at the lowest of lows at the moment, which is not nice. You want to take care of your athletes. You want to make them feel like, hey, listen, we got your back, and that's just not happening. So very disappointing.
And Sakshi Malik and Bajrang Punia have been protesting for so long. They slept on roads for 40 days. And when we talk about it, according to them, when they addressed that media yesterday, they talked about the fact that the government had promised them that no one connected to Brij Bhushan would be contesting for the elections, as well as the fact that they would be given a female president, a lady president, which is what the wrestlers wanted. Yes, yeah. But these are, Olympic medalists. We're talking about India's joy and pride when it comes to wrestling, and then, having to see them go like that, Sakshi Malik leaving her shoes at the venue at the press club and then leaving in tears. That was really disheartening to see.
Again, very disheartening. And, if you're a prime athlete, a wrestler who's done well for the country, is not treated well, it's just not good to watch at all. So. Yeah. something has to be done about this, and I think some action has to be taken really quickly, because promises can't be made, and if they're not kept, then it's basically pointless, right, Gagi? So I think more action has to be taken, which can help resolve this issue and give some sort of relief or support to the wrestlers, telling them that we have your back, which would also give some sort of, a relief for the fans, because I think a lot of fans also disappointed seeing this. So it's going to just bring the whole nation down, which we don't need at the moment.
And of course, replying to Sakshi Malik and Bajrang Punia's claims, Brij Bhushan said to a wire service that I did not let anyone from my family contest. The federation selected a candidate, and I had said before this that we have a majority. That's how it turned out. As president, the president Sanjay Singh got 40 out of 47 votes.
जैसा कि आज फैसला आया है और बिल्कुल भी उम्मीद नहीं थी, क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट ने प्रॉमिस किया था कि आपका ही प्रेसिडेंट बनेगा, तो फिर भी वो ब्रिजभूषण का जो बिजनेस पार्टनर है और जो उसका सहयोगी है उसको प्रेसिडेंट बनाया गया। तो इससे मैं बहुत ज़्यादा निराश हूँ, और मैंने सोचा इस जैसे आदमी अगर रहेंगे तो मुझे कुश्ती नहीं करनी है, क्योंकि इतना सब लड़ाई लड़ने के बाद भी उन्हीं आदमियों के सामने कुश्ती करना सर मेरे बस की बात नहीं है। मैं एक बहुत इमोशनल और सेंसिटिव इंसान हूँ, ना मैं गलत करती हूँ और ना मैं गलत होते देख सकती हूँ।
Apart from all of this, we're also building up to the India versus South Africa Boxing Day test match, which is a test match that holds a very special place in every South African fan and also around the world, specifically in countries like Australia and South Africa, where Boxing Day is really commemorated and celebrated. But when we talk about it, first of all, we have to talk about the opening pair. That's going to be the big discussion, because we have four batters who have been at prime form: Rohit Sharma, Yashasvi Jaiswal, Shubman Gill and Ruturaj Gaikwad. When we look at their intra-squad matches, Shubman Gill has scored a century. Shubhayan over there in South Africa has told us about this. Plus, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli and Yashasvi Jaiswal are looking in very, very good form, which means there was no mention of Ruturaj Gaikwad, which means that it could very well be that Ruturaj Gaikwad is not dropped, but is left out of the squad. But how do you see this test match, especially after that World Cup loss?
Yeah, it's a big test match, and I think after that World Cup loss, the Indians want to go out there and possibly win this test match, because they haven't won a test match in South Africa. And obviously this is the Indian side which is much stronger than South Africa at the moment. We've got our batsmen, like you mentioned, the top four are in great form. We've got our bowlers. Obviously Mohammad Shami will be missed because he was in such great form even in the World Cup. But hey, we got Jasprit Bumrah as well, who's been bowling really, really well. And he'll be raring to go, because he's not played in South Africa for a while as well. So I'm sure that he's thinking about going out there and getting a lot of wickets. The South Africans have a mixed squad. Obviously, they don't have Andrik Notchka in the side, who will be deeply missed, because he's someone who can really, bowl at quick speeds. So overall, the Indians have the upper hand in today's, like in the game. And I think it depends on how they work around the test match, how they build their partnerships, how they ensure they don't let the session slip away, or even the small minute details in the game slip away. It's about winning each session, which will make the difference in the test match for sure.
Absolutely. And Mohammad Shami, you talked about. Mohammad Shami is missing out because of an ankle injury, and you can't at this point cannot imagine an Indian red ball team without Mohammad Shami, because of his contributions that he's made in the near past. When we look at his World Cup campaign, incredible. He ended up as one of the highest wicket takers. So when we look at it, his contributions to the Indian team, to Indian cricket, has been phenomenal. When we shift our focus to the South African side, of course we have Lungi and Giddy, who in one of the team sheets had an asterisk next to his name, which means that he is either doubtful or injured. Plus Andrik Nokia sitting out, so that will be a relief for the Indian openers, because South African conditions, home conditions for them, so it's going to be really tough, this match. Do you look at it as a very quality contest, or do you think that this is a South African mellowed side of South Africa?
Yeah, so that's an interesting point. It will be a quality contest, because it's not like the South Africans don't have quality in the side. They obviously do, but obviously it's not the same South African side that has played in the years before. The Indians have the upper hand, so I'm guessing the Indians would back themselves to possibly win this test match, because I don't think they would get a better opportunity to do that than the test match that they're playing right now. So obviously the Indians have that upper hand. They should just go out there and make the most out of it. The South Africans would be hoping that they have a good home support, the crowd support is behind them, and obviously the bowlers will have to really come good, because the batting lineup, Gagi, is seeming a little shaky. So it's the bowler that will have to lead the side and I think deliver the best performance for South Africa.
Absolutely, and we have Shubhayan joining us from South Africa. This is what he has to say.
So thank you and a very good morning. We are here in Centurion gearing up for the Boxing Day test between India and South Africa. This time it is going to be a 2-match test series, not a 3-match or a 5-match test series which we generally associate in a marquee tour, but nonetheless it's going to be a very important tour, very important test series for the Indian team, because South Africa is the only land where the Indian team has not won a test series. They have done it in England, they have done it in Australia, and this time around all the focus will be on this Indian team after that heartbreaking defeat in the ODI World Cup final, so as to whether they can recuperate from that, whether they can recover from that and win a historic test series here in South Africa. If you have to ask me, then this is the best opportunity for the Indian team to win a test series. Two reasons. Number one, this Indian side, the batting unit, they have all the ingredients, all the mixture that is required to be a success formula here in South Africa. The bouncy tracks, the pacey tracks, these Indian batters are stroke makers, are good players of bouncy tracks, and they love when the ball is coming onto their bat. Beat Yashasvi Jaiswal, Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill, Virat Kohli, these guys love when the ball is coming into their bats, and so I'm expecting a good show from the batters as well. And if we rewind a bit, in 2021, the marquee series which India started on a thumping note, it all started here in Centurion, where India defeated South Africa by a whopping 100 plus margin, and we all remembered that century from KL Rahul, a valiant half century from Mayank Agarwal, a good gritty knock by Ajinkya Rahane, though I think he did not get that half century, but it was a very crucial knock. And from there we saw Mohammad Shami picking up 5 wickets. In the second innings we saw the troika of Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Siraj and Mohammad Shami decimating the South African batting unit and winning the test, and everyone thought that India will go on to defeat South Africa, but the South Africa, there's something about South Africa on their home soil, and they bounced back pretty phenomenally well, and there was a lot of controversy in the last tour as well regards to Virat Kohli's test captaincy. There was that spicy press conference which happened, and from there on all went downhill for the Indian team in that test series. South Africa came back and won the series and did not allow the Indian team any breathing space. India have played 2 more test matches here in the Super Sport Park in Centurion, and both of the time South Africa have decimated the Indian team. And if we talk about the conditions, it's pretty hot, 27-28 degrees during the day. There's a bit of a wind also, but overall it's glorious weather to play cricket on, and so the South Africans, they are going to enjoy the weather, the conditions of the pitch here at the Super Sport Park in Centurion. And of course, it being a Boxing Day test, we are expecting sellout crowd. The Cricket South Africa is expecting a sellout crowd. We saw yesterday that there's preparations going on at the stadium for the big match, and it's going to be quite an occasion if we have to talk about the India versus South Africa battle. As I said, India have not defeated South Africa in South Africa, so a huge opportunity for the Indian team to script history, remove that blemish that they could not win an ICC trophy. Of course, the heart will ache in terms of the Indian fans feeling that pain for quite some time, but I think if India go on to win this test series in South Africa, they are going to cherish it as a lifelong memory. They have done it in Australia twice, they have done it in England in the past, and now it's the Rainbow Nation where the Indian colors need to fly out strong. But talking about the South African team, no Lungi Ngidi, no Kagiso Rabada. Kagiso Rabada is still doubtful due to his heel injury. There's no Andrick Nokia, so that pace attack, which for South Africa is a huge strength on South African condition. It's going to be missing a bit. There will be Gerald Coetzee, there will be Nandre Berger, but without Kagiso Rabada, without Lungi Ngidi. Lungi Ngidi is a local boy, so it just doesn't remain the same. But for the Indian team, all eyes will be on skipper Rohit Sharma. He has been in the news when it comes to Mumbai Indians' trade of Hardik Pandya, Rohit Sharma being removed as the captain, or him relinquishing the captaincy of Mumbai Indians. So it's time for him to get over that pain of the World Cup final defeat against Australia, and now script a historic and a memorable series win here in South Africa. All eyes will be on Virat Kohli as well. Possibly a last tour of South Africa for both Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. Yashasvi Jaiswal is all set to open the innings with Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill batting at number 3. There's no experienced duo of Ajinkya Rahane and Cheteshwar Pujara this time around, so all eyes will be on Shubman Gill at number 3, Shreyas Iyer in that middle order at number 5. KL Rahul is going to, although he scored a century in that last Centurion Test in 2021, but this time around he will be donning the wicket-keeping gloves and play in the middle order. So a new role for KL Rahul in Test cricket as well. All eyes will be on him, how well he keeps in this Test series, how well he bats in the middle order, and of course the pace department is something which is going to need a rework without Mohammad Shami in that attack. Of course, all eyes will be on Jasprit Bumrah and Mohammad Siraj, but without Mohammad Shami, you might see a Mukesh Kumar play a test match, his second test match, or even Prasidh Krishna getting a game if the Indian team wants someone who can bounce the South African team out. Overall, there are few days to go. The Indian team is playing an intra-squad match. Today is going to be their last day. We will give you the updates from that match as well, and a lot. The team will travel to Centurion on 23rd, 24th and 25th. They will practice, and 26th the match will start. So a lot to build up to when it comes to the Boxing Day test. So yeah, back to studio for more updates on other sports as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shubhayan, for joining us. More from you later. Of course, we'll be looking forward to all the updates from South Africa, from Ground Zero. But to everyone who's watching, stay tuned to RevSports because we'll be back with more. For now, we'll leave you with another Shubhayan Chakravarti video from South Africa.
Hi, this is Shubhayan Chakravarti for RevSports, and we have reached Johannesburg where India will take on South Africa for the first of the 2-match test series, a Boxing Day test. It's going to be a blockbuster clash, and we are going to provide you with all the updates, what the Indian team is doing, what they are training, how they are training. It is going to be the first series, first match for the troika of the Indian team, for the likes of Rohit Sharma, Captain Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, the backbone of the middle order, and of course the pace spearhead Jasprit Bumrah. A lot of eyeballs are there on this series, though it's a 2-match test series, but this is the only country where India have not defeated South Africa or have not won a test match. We are going to show you the glimpse of the beautiful Super Sport Park where the preparations are currently going on. You can see there's a roller in the middle, the green pitch. It's a green pitch, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be chopped off. There's a heavy roller going on. The preparations are on. It's all decked up right now. It's all decked up, and this stadium has always favored the pace bowlers. The South African pacers have done exceedingly well, but it remains to be seen how they perform without the likes of Lungi Ngidi, the local boy, and of course Kagiso Rabada is also a doubt for this first test due to the heel injury. But the Indian pace bowlers, especially the likes of Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Siraj, even though Mohammad Shami is not present in this for this series, but all eyes will be on the Indian team management whether they pick Mukesh Kumar or Prasidh Krishna for the first test and the second test as well. Currently, India are playing an intra-squad warm-up match in Pretoria, and we have got some exclusive information right from that stadium. It's a closed-door match, so the media is not really allowed to cover that match, but we have got some exclusive information related to that match. So what is it? Shubman Gill, who has not done exceedingly well in T20s, but when it comes to test format, he has always excelled, especially in overseas conditions. He did really well in Australia, and now before the start of the series, he has smashed a century in the intra-squad match. Yashasvi Jaiswal, again an opener, a fellow left-hander, but he's a reserve for Rohit Sharma or Shubman Gill, or maybe he might open. He might open along with Shubman Gill playing at number 3. Yashasvi Jaiswal has batted beautifully, though he missed out on the century. He scored a half century, but before he could reach his century mark, the team management called him back to the dugout to give others a chance as well, because we know the first day was a rain-hampered match. It rained the night before the start of the intra-squad match, so the match on the day 1 of the intra-squad match, it started a bit late, but on day 2 it's bright, beautiful, sunny. Rohit Sharma batted, Virat Kohli batted, all eyes are on them as well to score big runs, but the focus from the day 2 of intra-squad match was Shubman Gill and Yashasvi Jaiswal. Shubman Gill, as I said, smashed a century. Yashasvi smashed a half century. The bowlers also did well. So stay tuned to RevSports for such exclusive information from the Indian practice camps, from the Indian team, and it's all decked up. It's all decked up. Boxing Day test. It's going to be an amazing atmosphere. People are excited. The staff inside the stadium are excited about the match. So all boils down on December 26 when India take on South Africa for the first and the Boxing Day test here at the Super Sport Park in Johannesburg. But for now, this is Shubhayan Chakravarti for RevSports. Stay tuned for more updates.